Georgia Tech travels to Athens, Georgia to take on the Bulldogs, 7:30 on ABC. The Bulldogs, they really have nothing to play for. They're already in the SEC championship game. They know that if they win the championship game, they're in the college football playoffs. So Georgia Tech has more to play for in this game. So does that mean that we will see an upset in Athens? I'll dive into that and more in just a second. Welcome to the channel. I'm Brian. I'm glad you're here. Even though I'm a massive Clemson fan, you can tell by my surroundings, I do talk about other college football teams. So if you like that sort of thing, I hope you'll subscribe and pass it along to your friends and neighbors. If my face starts drooping, please call for help. Just try to get me some help. Anyway, the Bulldogs are 9-2. They're already in the SEC championship game. They're waiting on the end result of Texas and Texas A&M. Now, you can talk about Carson Beck and how he's thrown, 12 interceptions this year, and he hasn't put up the numbers that he did last year. But Georgia is one of the most dominant teams in all of college football, and they have a bunch of health problems right now. So here they are in a situation that most teams, including mine, would kill to be in the conference championship game with a front seat chance of getting into the college football playoff and getting the most coveted bye. Yeah. On the other hand, you have a Georgia Tech team that just not too long ago was running an offense that was the premier offense during the World Wars. Now, that coach is no longer there. They had a coach after that. He's no longer there, but now you have Brent Key, and the guy has done an incredible job considering some of the issues you have to deal with coaching at Georgia Tech. The guy has done a really, really good job. He can coach. And believe it or not, he's even winning for Georgia Tech on the recruiting trail. So they come into this game tonight, and this is the day of the game. They come into this game tonight as an underdog, a 17.5-point underdog going into Athens. Now, when I look at the Bulldogs, I'm not looking at them like they're a bunch of lazies running around and this game doesn't matter to them, but I pose the question or the inquisitive comment, yes, I've been using a thesaurus here, that why does this game really matter to them? They're already in the conference championship. They'll be the favorite to win the conference championship in Atlanta. A lot of people believes they will win it. A lot of people at that point would say, hey, even with a third loss, they're going to get a bye in the college football playoffs. So you tell me why this game means anything to them. On the other hand, you have Georgia Tech, who's 7-4, and if they win this game, this is like a Super Bowl for them. This is a turning of the corner for them. Last year, and I know that was last year, I know it was in Atlanta, but you got to hand it to the Yellow Jackets. They played really close with the Bulldogs last year. So, as I'm looking at this game, I see Georgia Tech potentially playing a lot closer with Georgia than the 17.5-point spread. Could the game get ugly? Duh. Georgia could do that. But I'm just looking at the possibility of Georgia Tech coming into this game wanting it more because Georgia, though they want to win, and winning is a priority of Kirby, you have to remember the ages of the guys who's playing for Kirby. Maybe they're looking to next week. Kirby's yelling, screaming, pleading, has his coaches yelling, screaming, pleading, disciplining, telling them, hey, we have to do this and we have to do that. And they're like, yeah, coach, we know. We'll see you in the SEC championship game. Georgia Tech, this is their Super Bowl. Yeah, they're bowl bound, but can you imagine what it would do for the Yellow Jackets? For them to win this ball game. This game means so much more to them because there's so much more at stake. The rebuilding of their program, recruiting, the way the country looks at them. Brent Key, how he would be viewed by recruits, by the college football world, by his conference. I'm telling you, this game has upset written all over it. Now, let's talk about how Georgia Tech could do that. There's a lot of injuries on the Bulldogs sideline. I mean, there's a lot of injuries. I say a lot of injuries, but a decent amount of injuries. The running backs, they've had their situations. I believe Bell is questionable for this game. There's a lot of questionable guys. I'll put it that way. They're banged up. I won't say out. They're banged up. The question is, does Georgia overlook them? And how prepared are they? And then let's go to the Georgia Tech sideline. It really hinges on Georgia Tech. Will Haynes King come in and take care of business? Will he take care of the football? And will his offensive staff give him the play calls, the scheme to win this ball game, and can he execute? That's the question. And then on the Georgia Tech sidelines, with their defense, are they set up to play disciplined football and give Carson Beck interception number 13 and interception number 14? Can they play a complete game? If they can play a complete game, this will not be a 17.5 point loss or so. Georgia Tech can take the Bulldogs down to the wire and make this a game to watch. Again, Georgia's future, I can't say this enough. This is where I'm majorly hinging the argument that GT could beat them, is that Georgia does not need this game. They win the SEC, they get a bye. The SEC is going to get a bye. Georgia Tech needs this game, wants this game, potentially wants this game more. If Georgia Tech can play a physical game, a smart game, and a disciplined game, they very well could upset Georgia. Now, I'm not calling that Georgia Tech's going to beat them. I'm just saying I think Georgia will get this done. I think Kirby's pushing for win number 10. He's pushing for fixing the problems that they've had, whether it deals with some of the injuries, some of the off-the-field issues, whatever it may be. Remembering that the Ole Miss loss was just a few weeks ago. We can't have this going into the SEC championship game, and he uses this game to fine-tune his boys to play the winner of the A&M Texas game. Maybe so. We'll see. We'll see. I see the Bulldogs getting this game. I see them winning it. I do see them winning it. But don't be shocked if Georgia Tech comes out and wants it more. Hey, let me know what you think. If Georgia Tech wins this game, how do they do it? Will Georgia blow out the Yellow Jackets? Is this the fine-tuning that I referenced just a second ago, where Kirby's going to unload on the Yellow Jackets and get them set up for the big conference championship game? Let me know in the comments section. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, I hope you will subscribe. It is free. Y'all take care of yourself, and as always, go Tigers.